Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Sunday evening frequency meditation. I hope we've all had a beautiful week so far. And let's just start as we settle in. Now we're here. And whether you're listening to this live or on a recording, it's the frequencies that come through. And where we go is outside of time. So whether you are live or you're listening to this on a recording, the transmission will still be the same for you. So tonight, let's move into this topic called, if you like, the suspicion of simplicity. And just settle yourself here, first of all, to start off. Really just coming into the body. Notice your chest area. And let's take a deep breath in. If you like, arriving here. It's always good to settle and center before, whether it's a meditation you're listening to, or a business meeting, or a family discussion, to center. Your perspective will be clearer. And also, for instance, for tonight, I'm helping place you in a position so that you'll be able to register what's happening. You'll be able to embody it. And that goes way past the mind. So let's just take another deep breath in. And this is part of our journey on the, if you like, the ascension path that comes for everyone. When we start to have access to different realms, when we receive higher order rule sets, a thought comes across our mind. It's too simple. And that's when there comes a moment on the path when the mind rebels. And it's not because the truth is hidden, but because it's so simple, it feels like it cannot possibly be real. The mass consciousness, we've been trained to believe that enlightenment, and I use that term very loosely, it requires mountains of effort, so much practice, or some dramatic cosmic encounter that proves we've earned it. Yet when coherence does arrive, you'll find it comes without fanfare, without drama, without performance. And for those of you who have done this work with me, who've been doing these studies, you know that when you step into the center of your sphere and you align with that architectural sphere, the whole entire landscape shifts. Fear dissolves, struggles disappear. And life just opens up in front of you. And this is what happens when we become coherent. So then an echo comes in, the mind whispering, surely it can't be that easy. So let's just take a breath in right now. Notice your spine, the whole spine. And this whisper of it can't be this easy, this suspicion, if you like, it's not failure. It's actually a threshold marker for you. It's a sign that you're actually brushing right against that next layer of coherence. Complexity belongs to distortion. Simplicity belongs to truth. There is such an intelligence and operating system here with such precision, synchronicity, that our mind cannot fathom it. The very fact that we get through the day safe, with all the variables out there, there's some guidance being happened for us. The universe is so complex, it had to design very simple processes and systems in order for it to all flow the way it does with such precision. So again, simplicity belongs to truth. And the masters knew this. Christ framed it like becoming like a child. Buddha as the middle way. Tesla as the elegance of frequency. Who else? Bohm as the implicate order. Each pointed to the same thing. Reality's architecture is astonishingly direct. So tonight, let's walk into that simplicity together. Let's experience being in the system, because that's where we're all going. We're actually no longer even becoming the architect of our reality, which, by the way, is an incredible feat in itself. We're actually becoming the architecture itself. We're becoming part of the overall operating system. And that's a game changer. So let's anchor into the geometry. And we allow the transmissions. And with that, we realize that actually what seemed too easy is actually the highest intelligence that we're tuning into. The door's open. The question is, are we ready to walk through? So if your eyes are closed, just open up your eyes right now. Look at an object in front of you. Notice that object and then notice you and your body. And close your eyes. And really arrive into yourself as is for the first time this week. The day's fragments, they're still running in the background. But let them dissolve into the simple truth of this moment right now. Presence is already here. We don't have to summon it. We don't have to even wrestle with our thoughts. We're already in position. And what we're just doing is simply becoming aware of it. So take a breath in right now. Just pause here. You in your sphere, that center point in the middle of your brain, noticing the left side of the brain, the right side, and then you in the center. And let's just pause while I help you come to this position. Perhaps you might notice that quiet click of awareness, just finding its seat at the very center of your sphere. This is your anchor point, your true coordinate in space-time. When you hold it, you're no longer referencing through distortion. You're not bending yourself through old stories or cultural programs. You're here in the original geometry. And when we're here, the simplicity of the system comes through for us. And when there are quiet periods during this transmission, just focus on what was just said. And in this silence is when Things are being shifted behind the scenes for you. Bringing you into that coherence. Now let that awareness from your sphere extend through the spine, the vertical axis that connects the heavens into the earth, if you like. So from the crown, through the vertebrae, to the base, down into the ground, into the core of the earth. Really feel the line of coherence stabilizing you right now. It's not imagination. See architecture itself responding. This is a pure movement of frequency through form, from the center of your sphere down into earth, reversing upwards and returning again home. The loop completes without any sort of strain. Most people have heard Tesla's insight that if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, vibration. Well, what you're experiencing right now is exactly that. Your system's recalibrating to that original frequency of truth. And observe, there's no struggle required. The loop runs on its own. Your only task is to remain positioned in neutrality. So take that breath in. Come into that neutrality right now. And notice if maybe the mind comes in, as it does so often, trying to hijack this presence. You may whisper, "That is all? Just sitting in my sphere? It's got to be more than that." This is, if you like, the suspicion of simplicity. It's a nervous system unused to coherence. For years, perhaps decades, lifetimes, you are trained to think value only comes through effort, complication, therapy, striving, rituals, and the self-work. All those layers implied that the real thing must be hidden and difficult. Yet here you are. If you give yourself permission, you're accessing it instantly. And so the mind resists. This resistance is the threshold marker itself. It tells you, stay here. You are the doorway. When Buddha sat beneath the tree, Mara sent temptations, storms, armies. These were not punishments. They were the mind's last attempt to complicate the truth. The moment Buddha finally stayed seated, everything dissolved. Simplicity revealed itself as enlightenment. So the same geometry that Buddha was sitting in. This is where you are now. So from your center, feel how the architectural sphere surrounds and stabilizes you. For those that are new to this, you can go to the app and there's many complimentary meditations on the mechanics. Because really what I do is, it's far more subquantum physics than it is spirituality. So notice how you being centered in your sphere right now, in the center point of your brain. Notice how it stabilizes you right now. This is a framework that ensures coherence. It's not a metaphor, it's spatial referencing. Every time you anchor here, your field re-renders closer to your pure blueprint. Distortions fall away because they can't exist inside this geometry. And so notice, simplicity is not absence. Simplicity is the most complete presence. In the pure blueprint, there's nothing missing, nothing left undone. All that looked complex before was distortion fighting to keep itself alive. And when you release that, what remains is the elegant order of existence itself. Bohm called it the implicate order, the hidden structure out of which everything unfolds. And now you're touching it directly. And you're touching it directly. So as we breathe in, noticing our spine, again another breath in, coming to your sphere, the center of your brain. Notice the left side, the right side, and then coming together, those two synergies together. Coming down through your spine, just noticing the 33 vertebrae as you tune into this other brain in the spine. Dropping into the core of the earth, accessing these frequencies that are in the same density as you, and then reversing up, coming up back through the spine to your sphere, and from here expanding outwards. Arms length around you, this is our frequency field. This is where all of our induction frequencies are. Everything starts here. And just observe, not seeking, not looking, but just observing what might appear for you. And noticing our architectural sphere. And for those of you who are new, it's the 6 directions every way. We're centered. Notice above, all those higher realms are that we have access to. Below, density, grounding us, centering us. We're in the center of those 2 realms, up, below. Notice the left side of this sphere. Structure, filters, distortions, control mechanisms. And then to the right side, that brilliance. Again, coming center. And then forward, future timelines. Behind us, past timelines. Both defining who we are, but not with accuracy. So we come center in all 6 directions. Just stay here right now. Let's ground this further. Think back to a time when you paused without knowing why, and perfect timing arrived. When you picked up the phone and the exact person you needed was already calling. Or maybe perhaps when you stepped into the street just in time to meet someone who would completely change your trajectory. That's coherence in action. It looks ordinary, so much so, with people's filters, they're not aware of it. But it is pure architecture unfolding in real time. This is what happens when you hold position. Notice how you're feeling right now. Perhaps notice the simplicity, the lightness. The mind seems to just has taken more of an ease, a natural position without so many storylines in the background. Notice how your field has widened. Arm's length around you. This frequency field is it's no longer clogged with inherited debris. Clearer, lighter, more responsive. This is why simplicity matters. When you operate from this coherence, reality bends easily. Opportunities, relationships, health, wealth, they all respond to the clarity of your frequency. This isn't magic. This isn't miracles. It's mechanics. It's how the universe has created itself. It's how we create ourselves. We're understanding that implicate order beneath the surface. Taking a breath in. It's the mass consciousness filters that have told us how complicated it is to connect with our very timeless self. How can that be complicated? We are our timeless self. It's the mass consciousness filters that keeps telling us how reality is so complicated, so many secrets, equations that we do not have access to. It's false. It's a distortion. It's a filter that has been with us thousands of years, keeping us away from giving us that permission slip that we have, that of course, I can tune into my timeless self, my higher self. I am my timeless self. I don't need a guru to bless me to do this. I don't need to understand the universe, the secrets of the universe to do this. I don't need to get a master's in whatever doctrine is out there. None of them agree with each other, so it can't be the highest order. What I need to do is become centered in my sphere, present. And with that, the simplicity comes. Reality is not complicated. It is precise. And precision is always simple once you see the geometry. That's why so many of the great minds, Tesla, Bohm, Sheldrake, Einstein, they spoke of elegance and simplicity. They knew that truth is never heavy, it's light. I know from my own journey, it keeps getting simpler and simpler and simpler. I have less questions. Take another breath in now. Notice your frequency field. Notice the field clearing. More space, more silence, stillness. Continue to rest here. Rest here longer than your mind's comfortable with. This is the practice, holding simplicity long enough for suspicion to fade. Every time you cross this threshold, the suspicion weakens and the clarity grows. In time, the mind no longer will doubt. It recognizes that the effortlessness is not suspicious, it is supreme. Is that not one of the greatest challenges humans have? Is to be free of this distortion that we're separate from our higher self? We're separate from the super intelligence? How can we be? We are it. We are like that drop in the ocean. And by practicing this, staying here, even when the mind starts to get uncomfortable, just staying neutral in your sphere, this will come to you. This will come for you from your timeless self. You will get to that state, that simplicity is your truth. And that gap between, that separation between you and your timeless self narrows and narrows and narrows. Taking another breath in, noticing your spine, you and your spine, noticing that sphere in the center of your brain, and then noticing your frequency field, that sphere outside, arm's length around you, where all these induction frequencies are, creating that reflection of who you are here right now. So let tonight be the turning point. From now on, when you feel the doubt, this cannot be it, it's too easy, recognize it as a marker. You know you're on the edge of coherence. And instead of collapsing, you stay. You remain seated at the center of your sphere, spine aligned, field open. And in that steadiness, the pure blueprint renders you again and again closer to your highest architecture. And here's your final revelation. Taking a breath in. This was never complicated. The suspicion itself was your proof. If it feels simple, you have arrived. If it feels effortless, you are already in truth. And tonight you walked through that doorway and saw. Coherence is never difficult. Coherence is direct. I know for myself, when I receive those technologies, and I think, it's just too simple. The next thought that comes in, but it took you 6 decades to receive that awareness. So the journey may not be simple to receive the awareness, but once you receive it, it's astonishingly simple. And now, even with these technologies coming in to show exactly the roadmap to get there, that even becomes simple. The efficiency of this is that once it really lands, and that's what we're doing tonight, all that other stuff that we thought we had to align ourselves to, figure out, master, learn, the long process of ascension, it all goes. We see it for what it is, a distortion from mass consciousness, fed lifetime after lifetime. But once you come into this center, you receive the simplicity. This is when the game changes for you. Another breath in. Bring awareness back into the center of your sphere. Hold it there as a final seal, if you like. You are coherent. Hold position. There's nothing missing. Everything complicated has fallen away. So what remains is truth in its most direct form. And shifting as we breathe in right now, shifting that perspective for you, disconnecting from those old definitions, that simplicity is no longer suspicious. Now we've come to understand Simplicity is sacred. You can listen to this transmission again. You can even have the volume down low. You'll feel, you'll notice how you become more centered, how things become still, quiet, less noisy. That's you in coherence. And with that, I'll leave you here and in your own time with your timeless self. It's between you and your timeless self. I'm just the MC, if you like. So stay here. And with that, I'll see everybody next Sunday.